Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Just had some bad news. Well, sort of. It's the sort of thing that's not in my control anyway. Lady next door knocked on the front door and asked if I could give her the landlord's name and the name of the agent for her solicitor, because basically they're moving. Now, these are what I would call perfect neighbours. They've got kids that are very quiet, play in the garden nicely and everything, and you'd hardly know they were there. You know what I'm like, I don't like excessive noise or all that sort of stuff, so they've been really good. They're chatty when you bump into them, not overly so, but they keep themselves to themselves, so they've been ideal. But basically they did say to me a while back now, it was back in the winter, that they were looking to move because the girls are going to go up to the next school. And depending on which one they go to, because there's a set, there's what do they call it, consortium or something or other. But depending on which one they go to, travel to and from might not be practical from where they live now. So they put their house on the market as a sort of teaser to see whether it would sell reasonably well and what sort of money they could get for it, pending finding out which school the girls were going to, which would then determine where they look for another house or if they need to bother. Well, obviously the girls are going somewhere that's not easily got to from here, so they're on the move. Which means I get new neighbours, and I don't like the unknown. You know, I mean, the last lot of neighbours I had before this lot were not nice people. You know, noisy kids, mouthy, loud music all the time, thumping up and down the stairs. You know, they were not nice people, basically, whereas these have been really good. So, yeah, a bit of bad news. They're on the move. It won't be for a while, it'll be a couple of months, I expect, but next time I see one of them, him or her, I will stop and ask about what my new neighbours are going to be like. You know, like the same as I asked the guy before. I said, you know, what are my new neighbours like? He said, well, he's about 50, she's a bit younger, and they've got twin girls, probably about 10, something like that. And they've got a tiny little dog that doesn't make a noise, basically. So that's all he knew about them. And he also said they're not moving far. They're from this estate. So they're just moving to a bigger, quieter place, basically. So anyway, I will try and find out a bit about my neighbours. But this, they have an offer on the house. They don't have contracts yet. The solicitor's trying to sort out this shared access stuff, which is always a big deal. You know, so there's stuff going on, basically, and who knows, they might pull out and they might lose their buyer. And you can have a chain effect with houses in this country, in England, where you go and find a place you want, put an offer in, and it's accepted, but the house you're buying are still looking for somewhere to move to. And the whole, you know, and they're looking at a place and they've got an offer in, and you end up with what's called a chain of, you know, it can be quite a few houses, and it only needs one to break that chain and the whole thing collapses. And then the one at the bottom, whoever that might be, it won't be these people next door because they're selling, so they have a buyer. Yeah? So that buyer must have sold their place, and the person buying their place could pull out, in which case they can't move. So it all gets complicated. So we shall see. Anyway, that's the bad news. Well, it's bad news for me anyway. It doesn't make any difference to you people. And the sad news is, I'm sure you've all guessed it anyway, Dolly the cat was rehomed to somebody else. Now, the good part of that is Dolly the cat has a home. And obviously the selection process hopefully has got her somewhere that she can live out the rest of her life in, you know, in comfort. But not with me, unfortunately. So Dolly the cat is not coming here. Anyway, that's it for today, just a short one. Oh, I do have a new bloom opened. I suppose I better show you that. And that is, it's a Bratonia, and it's Marie something or something Marie. And I can't see the tag, so I can't read it. I don't even think it's got a tag. Mildly fragrant, as opposed to this, the Radiata, which is incredibly fragrant. And this relatively inferior spike with just 5 blooms passes its fragrance to the whole grow room, especially in the morning as the temperature rises and the sun comes round. So if you want something highly fragrant, that's your kiddie. Prosthetia radiata. Absolute stunner. Not a striking bloom as such, although it has its merits, but you get it for the fragrance basically. Anyway, that's it for today. Oh, I must tell you there is a video on the other channel, which is a nature video. It's about some airborne visitors to the garden, including one very special one that's not been in the garden before. In fact, I'm not sure I've ever seen one before, ever. And it visited the garden. Short and sweet and gone. May never be seen again. Anyway, so there's a video on the other channel if you're interested. And I will see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.